Visit 2.
We have a new way to survive this economy. Really, it's just in time for the holiday season. This time of the year means some new job opportunities for anybody who's looking for work.
Today, Dr. Mike Woodward is here to show us how to make most of those holiday temporary jobs. Thanks for being here.
Sure, thanks for having me.
You know, we always get the announcements from Labor Department and so forth along about September that all these companies are going to be hiring, and then you look a little closer and you realize, oh, these are temporary holiday jobs. But I guess the goal here is to try to hang on to those.
Absolutely, and you're right. This time of year is not just when retailers make most of their money, but it's when they do most of their hiring, but just for that temporary time. And according to the National Retail Federation, retailers are bringing on about 500,000 temp workers this season. So the idea is, don't just look at that temp job as a temporary paycheck, but how do you parlay that into something greater?
And how do you do that? What's the #1 rule?
Well, first and foremost, always make sure you impress the right people. I'm a big believer in making sure you get on the radar screen of those decision makers who may potentially do permanent hiring, but also could be a reference or a referral for another job later on down the road.
So maybe already treat it like a permanent job. Make sure you're there on time,
Absolutely.
You're a hard worker.
Yes, and always the second thing is to make sure you build your network. Everybody that you come in contact with could be a potential opportunity or gateway to that next job opportunity. And so it's important to make sure that you're networking with those people, getting on their radar as well.
And you talk about looking out for the upsell as well.
Absolutely. Any good salesperson will tell you, always look for that upsell. So make sure that you demonstrate those skills and those values that you have to that potential employer or your boss or supervisor there, because they may not know what value you can bring to the table. And also make sure to volunteer for helping out with scheduling, possibly working a late shift, or taking on any additional work that'll show them that kind of extra initiative.
And so it's important to speak up for yourself. Make sure that they're aware that you're willing to do things and go above and beyond.
Speak up for yourself and be known. And then the last thing is make sure you stay LinkedIn. Because once that job ends, even if it's over and you don't get a follow-on job after that, stay connected to those folks that you met, especially the supervisors or bosses or any decision makers there, because you never know when they'll think of you next. So if you use social media like Facebook, particularly LinkedIn, keep in touch with them. You may be the first person they think of when that next opportunity comes up.
Yeah, a few months down the road, somebody leaves, there's a vacancy, there you go. How do you get around workplace jealousy? Or you don't want to go too far in impressing the boss.
Right.
So how do you know when you keep it under the line?
There is a delicate balance, so you got to pay attention to all the players in the game, right? Not just those bosses. But again, it's showing that value, because remember, it is a really competitive market. We're still at 9% unemployment. So, you got to kind of self-promote a little bit more than you might be comfortable with, and you got to step out a little bit. But it's okay to help those around you come along too. I believe in good karma, so that could be part of it.
And when you talk about impressing the right people and building a network, that doesn't necessarily mean the people that you're working for. It can also be a customer who walks into the place of business and you impress them. That might lead to something, I would imagine, as well.
Absolutely. Make sure that you pay attention to all the opportunities. You have to keep your eyes open because it is such a competitive market. And if you can find those right people to get in front of, you never know when an opportunity may spring up down the road. And that's the idea, is I want to keep people paying attention to down the road.
And when you say stay LinkedIn, you should go ahead and use things like Facebook. Should you try to friend your boss?
I would say first and foremost use LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is accepted as the professional social media network, so it's sort of a standard to link in with people that you work with or colleagues or even clients or customers. So that's probably the more appropriate route, but definitely do it. Find them on LinkedIn, make sure you get linked with them, post regular stuff that you're doing, and keep your LinkedIn profile up to date, because the fact is recruiters are searching that, so are bosses. And if they think of you and want to find out more about you, that's basically your online resume.
Yeah.
Some great ideas. Thank you, Dr. Woodward.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.